if you're talking to somebody who doesn't know much about marketing, how would you explain how SEO is associated with a website?
If I was talking to somebody that doesn't know much about marketing, I wouldn't talk about those two things.
Okay.
So there must be a way we're getting those leads, all right? I would double down on that channel. Get reviews, respond to those reviews, and then get to the point where you can hire a true marketing company. They're everywhere.
What's up, guys? Today, got a special guest for you. One of my buddies, William, here, and he is a marketing guru. So we talked about a lot of SEO stuff. So let's spend a little bit of time on website.
Okay.
Right? And I know you and I have talked in links about websites.
Mm-hmm.
But for the people who are watching, what would you say? What do you think somebody that's watching this that's just starting out? What do you think they should spend on a website?
Okay. I don't think anyone should spend anything on a website. I think that they should get in an SEO program where the website is a part of that programming. So because nothing that you build when it comes to a website is a direct hit out of the box. So you need a company that can watch the pages that were built, the pages that were written, the services pages that are added. How are those pages doing in organics, and how can we modify or add or take away pages over time? So I think websites are living documents. It's a living brochure. We call them websites. I call it a living brochure. And so like you, we've opened up your living brochure and in the office 30 times, and we've said, these images don't make sense, this content doesn't make sense, how do I purchase here? And we've scrutinized those things over time and tweaked and modified those things. Unfortunately, we can take those lessons and move it into the next build, but in 3, 4, 5 years, our look and our design is obsolete again, because the people are used to using designs differently, or enough data is coming out a certain way a website's built is just better, and it just needs to be rebuilt. And I think we've rebuilt yours 2 or 3 times now. Now yours is built more like a franchise website now. We finally modified yours into a franchise, and it's good for your strategy, but it wasn't always there, and it's not even in its final version right now. It still has to get to another version where, when the time's right, we'll even modify it again. So I don't know what someone should pay for a website, but definitely not less than I don't know, definitely not less than $10,000-$20,000, and it shouldn't be less than yours is multiple hundred pages. I would say if you're paying flat out for a website, it needs to be 50 solid pages. In most cases, 30 to 50 pages.
Okay.
And don't think of cost. I wouldn't look at it as cost. I would look at it as, it doesn't matter what it cost you. If a lead for you is $30,000, one lead pays for itself. It could be a turd for $30,000. But can I get a property that can close and close and close, and can evolve, and we can improve and scale things? Well, how do you put a price on that value? You can't put a price on that value. We're going to put a price on that value? No. You need a company that's going to build you a funnel that's going to bring you clients, assuming the clients have some sort of value and that investment makes sense to pay for future leads.
Let's get a little deeper into the website, but I want to get. Let's take it so somebody who doesn't know a lot about marketing can understand.
Okay. What
would you say? We know it's an online brochure, right? That's exactly what it is, right? And we've been talking about SEO, right? How, if you're talking to somebody who doesn't know much about marketing, how would you explain how SEO is associated with a website? Okay.
If I was talking to somebody that doesn't know much about marketing, I wouldn't talk about those two things.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. I definitely would not. I would start with the website. You definitely have to have a website. And if you can't afford someone that is good at search engine optimization at the same time, and you don't have an ad budget, certainly there must be a way that you're getting leads, right? You're not a business owner if you don't have cash flow. And if your cash flow is less than your expenses, you're not going to be a business owner much longer. And so certainly there must be some sort of cash flow. And we certainly must be good at getting some reviews. We're good at what we do, right? That's also going to lead to a short-term business owner. So we must be good at what we do. because we're getting reviews. And we must have cash flow that's greater than our expenses, which in short runs, that's fine. We can go underwater for certain parts of time. Businesses do this all the time. But let's assume, we're bootstrapping it. So really we need to get cash flow positive pretty quickly. So there must be a way we're getting those leads. All right. I would double down on that channel. Whatever that channel is, if it's you going to meetings and meeting and your friends of friends, just keep doing that. What I would certainly do if you're a service area brand is make sure you have a Google business profile and every client turn them into a review. Every client can't just be paying back the business loan or paying for the cost of doing business or paying you what you want to make because you're taking all the risk. It has to also be turning into digital footprint components. So every client that you have, if you don't know much about websites or SEO, you have to pop up a Google business profile and you have to get every client to give you a review. All right. After the reviews get to a certain point, that GBP can rank even without a website, which will start to bring us leads. And then you can ask yourself, okay, I'm starting to get more cash flow here. I'm sitting on $10,000, $12,000, $24,000 that I can invest in a marketing team, right? Because that's my role here is to outsource the marketing so that you guys can expand and operate, right? If you want to have an internal marketing team, you can't get it at the cost of my full team, right? It's impossible. Like that's why franchises hire us, is because they don't want to be top heavy when it comes to marketing teams or even accounting teams. That's why they have partnerships they trust. So when it comes to a business owner that's trying to do it themselves, doesn't understand marketing or SEO, get the GBP and get leads there, and then come around and build a website. And certainly, not all websites are equal. God, they're not. And you building it yourself is about as worthless as it can be. Yeah. But at least having something there to start helping you get some additional cash flow. Everything has to go back to the local service map, the GBP. That's where I would focus. Get reviews, respond to those reviews, and then get to the point where you can hire a true marketing company. They're everywhere. Good marketing companies are everywhere that can do good websites. Spend the money and get a good, solid 20, 30, 40-page website, and then start talking to the marketing company and learning how to talk through what they're seeing and what they want to do and what you think you should do, even though you don't, you're talking baby talk. Multiple years ago, you would when you talked about digital marketing, you were talking baby talk. Now you talk like an adult marketer. You have to be willing to just try to spar with your marketing company and then get them to explain it, and then just keep asking those questions until you've scaled up your brain. Now you can start bringing yourself higher up and saying, okay, no, I know I'm spending $12,000 or $25,000 a year. Now, how can I spend more, or how can I track the success of that? It's crazy. I've got clients on the East Coast all the way to the West Coast, and when the economy's down, they double up with marketing. But my companies right here in the Midwest, not you and several other very, very growth-minded business owners, but so many of them, they hunker down and they cut their marketing. And it's like the worst thing, because businesses go out and you want to be visible at that point. Businesses don't save money. You and your team are very savvy when it comes to investing. The Babylon story. What is it? The richest man in Babylon. You guys are good about making money work for you. Not most business owners aren't that way. Yeah. They're sitting on a thread. And so they're going out of business when the economy's down. You can't take away your marketing. You almost have to double down in your marketing, because now there's users that don't have a past provider there. Here you are, and now you come out of it stronger. East West Coast clients, they always get it.
Yeah. That's interesting, So we've talked a little bit about SEO, talked a little bit about website. Let's talk a little bit about ads.
Okay.
What is your opinion on ads? If you were talking to somebody who's a first-time marketer out there thinking about running ads, what would you tell them?
I would say be very careful.
Yeah.
Be very careful. You can waste all your money and get nothing back. You want to make sure that you don't just, I have $2,000 and I'm hoping to turn this into, $3,000, because it will very likely not work. You have to be committed to a certain amount of money, but it also has to be money that you can be willing to part with. Because especially when you're starting off in Google Ads, there's a lot of learning, it's a lot of errors, it's a lot of practice, and precision doesn't come for thousands and thousands of dollars later. Yeah. When you've got a company like yours where we're hundreds of thousands of dollars in on our learning, is different. That's a lot of experiments.
I agree.
That's a lot of experiments. Yeah. So when I get in for $1,000, I'm not getting any experiments. I'm not getting any learning. I'm getting a lot of, it was either a good hit and a lead, and then I was able to close it because it was a good one, or it was, high enough quality. So I will be very cautious to not just think that, I can jump into ads. I would try to, before I invested in ads, I would look around at what are my competitors doing. I would try to reinvent their wheels before anything. I'll try to go to their websites, pop their ads, try to pop them in Google, research what they're doing, try to look around as much as you can. Is it Facebook? Is it IG? Are they following me through my email? Is it really just through Google Ads and the links on the LSAs, the local service area ads? Where can I find them? And then do I also think that they're successful and getting leads, or do I just think they're like me and they're trying to test the waters? Like that, then I have to try to take a guess there. I would, don't just test it with no knowledge. You'll lose your money. 2, you have to be committed to it. So once, it's like a billboard. If you put one up, you can't remove the next year. It looks worse. So it's like if you get into ads, you have to commit for 3, 4, 5, 6 months on it through a couple seasons. The better thing is to do something sustainable for a year. And then you also want to have the ability to kind of track that. So if you can have a tracking phone number that it goes to, or a landing page that it goes to, you really need to be able to say, I spent $500 and I got 1 lead. My lead is worth $100 a year, but they stay with me for 10 years. Okay, great. So that lead was worth $1,000. You spent $500, 50% of it on acquisition. Can you live with that? If you can, we do it. If you can't, we have to find other ways to get lower cost leads into the pipeline. Or maybe that works and some of those clients are lost leaders. But that's just the things that if you're a business owner, you really do need to have a nitty gritty brain on it. If you're going to try to run it yourself, you really got to learn, ask a lot of questions to a lot of different people, because my ads guy has a completely different strategy than this ads guy, who will have a completely different strategy than this ads guy. And for me, I like to look at their strategies and ask myself, can I take anything away from them to improve mine? Or, you know what I mean? Can I upgrade my strategy? So I don't know. Starting with ads is tricky. It's expensive, but when it works, it usually works well. If you do buy leads, you have to turn them into Google reviews. You have to turn them into lifelong customers. You have to turn their friends into customers. That's how it has to be done. Mm-hmm. You have to get their information and service them correctly and get a 5-star review. You have to find out who they know that you can service, and you have to take every drop out of that lemon as you're starting, because business ownership is that serious. You're on the edge of a dream and the edge of a nightmare at all times. And you go from a roller coaster. Eventually, in my own business and yours, I went from a roller coaster to a freight train where I was just having success and just trying to hold on to the damn thing. But for years and years, it was a roller coaster. We're on our way out. We're on our way up. We're on our way out. We're on our way up.
Mm-hmm. It's a fun ride, man, and not everybody can do it.
All right.
That's for sure.
Yep.
So I always say on here is like, just take the step, right? I have something about me where I just don't quit, right? Mm-hmm. I've been put in the corner so many times that you just got to keep moving forward, keep taking that next step.
That's right.
You're going to get beat up. You're going to get pushed against the wall. You just got to keep driving forward.
Yep.
So talked a little bit about ads, talked a little bit about SEO, talked a little bit about website. So I want to end it with this. If you could give anybody who's watching right now one piece of advice in marketing, what would it be?
Okay, one piece of advice in marketing. Your name is everything. Your name is everything. Your name is marketing. If you have to give a refund to save yourself a 1-star review, give the refund. Give the refund. The dollar value on that 1-star review is going to be taking away future success and future dollar bills from the day it hits your profile. For me, my policy is if you weren't happy with our service, you know, we want you to be happy with our work, right? We want you to feel like you're getting value for what you pay us. If that moment happens where it's not, and you're in a 1 or a 3 year contract, hey, I'm not worried about the contract. I'm not worried about the money. I need you as a business owner to make it, and I need to make it as a business owner. So if you're unhappy with me and my team, me holding you and just trying to pull money from you in the end is going to get me a 1-star review, not worth it.
Yeah,
not worth it. Your name is your major part of your branding. Pick it well and guard it well.
Love it. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time.